Good evening. Welcome to Fantastic America radio show. I am Saba Ibrahim, and today we will be having a great show to honor veterans who dedicated their lives to this country and deserve to be recognized. I'll be interviewing Paula Ernesto, a former veteran who served as a soldier in Afghanistan. So, welcome, Pablo, and thank you for being with us. Let's start by going back in time. Why did you join the military? Were you drafted or did you volunteer?
I actually volunteered for the armed forces back in 2007 after my high school finished.
Do you recall your first day in service?
The first day was somewhat overwhelming. There was a lot of standing in lines, filling out forms, and then getting yelled at, but mostly filling out forms. I expected something totally different. I was expecting to have to run and jump and do all the physical things we associate with the Army.
What exactly did you do there?
The day-to-day life of the U.S. Army is similar, in my opinion, to that of a college student's day-to-day life, except for one thing: you always have someone telling you what to do.
Can you tell me about your most memorable experience?
One of my most memorable times was being stuck in the swamp of Louisiana during a training exercise where I was actually trying to simulate the enemy and think and act as the enemy would for training soldiers that were going to deploy. And it had actually rained for 30 days straight. And when we got up in the morning, we got out in our positions, and because we were the enemy, we didn't have contact with anyone else. And we were setting up, and it took us hours and hours to set up everything so it was very similar to how the enemy would attack the soldiers overseas. And down to the finest details, we tried to simulate an IED, the bombardment of different fire and explosives on all directions, and we had everything planned perfectly. But then they canceled the exercise. And instead of just allowing us to go back, they made us stay there for another 2 whole days. We ended up just lighting off all the fireworks and ended up just playing around in the mud. But I think that's one of my most fond memories. It's pretty much like camping, but with guns.
So how were life there, like in the army? Did you guys have a plenty of supplies and food?
During the stateside service, what we call garrison service, yes, we would have chow halls that were open from mostly 8 a.m. in the morning until 5 p.m. at night. You could go in there and eat, drink, socialize at any point in time, as long as you weren't told to do something otherwise. And they would always provide us with beds, clothing, your basic essentials. However, they didn't supply us with our recreational items, your video game systems, all the way to if you wanted a vehicle. You had to purchase that yourself and supply the insurance and do all the other things. They would have buses on base, but generally if you wanted to go anywhere other than the 3 main places on base, you needed to have a vehicle.
Okay, while serving there, how did you stay in touch with your family?
Well, for the first 5 months while I was overseas, we had no contact with family and friends, except for if my family mailed me a care package.
What did you do in the days and weeks after your service ended?
The first few weeks that I was out of the military and I was finished with the Army, I got a job. Unlike a lot of other soldiers where they take vacations and they progress into moving and relocating, and I did that within 2 days, and by the end of the week I was employed, and 2 weeks later I was enrolled in college and going to school.
Thank you, Paulo Ernesto, for sharing your memories with our listener. Before ending our radio show, I just want to wish all the former and current service men and women a happy Veteran Day. Have a great night.